Welcome back to BaldHeaded Metal, guys, and welcome back to another reaction from Arch Enemy, but this time around joined by my brother Benjamin from Star Wars Timeline. This time around we're doing to a song Handshake with Hell. Now, I don't know if you've been checking out their new singles for this album. We pretty much feel the same way about this band, that we love the Angela Glassos era Arch Enemy, that it was late 90s, 2000s era of Arch Enemy. We really enjoyed that period.
Yeah,
She was really aggressive, right?
yeah. I have not moved past that point. Honestly, I just didn't have enough to check out the band.
I think we feel both about Alyssa in the sense that I think she's a good frontwoman, and it's not her fault the way I feel about Arch Enemy. Really, Arch Enemy's just been taking the direction of a more melodic and a less death metal kind of a band. But there's been Deceiver, I think, was a good song that I've heard from the singles they've released. And I think we're both going to come in with kind of open mind just to see.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing from modern fans, a lot of friends that I have in Star Wars community who adore our recent Arch Enemy, they all say, look, she brings this nice commercial success and vibe to the band, and she's a good front woman. She is shiny, she's sparkly in that, kind of like Teutonic kind of thrash metal kind of scene. That's not a bad thing. Being commercially successful, good metal band that a lot of fans come into, that's not a bad thing. You don't have to always stay underground to be true metal.
I agree.
So let's hear it. Let's keep an open mind. I like the
pose.
That's a nice little intro.
Their music videos are usually pretty good. It happens every time when I listen to them, is that I think she has a good she has a good control of her vocals.
Right.
But I've always preferred, I mentioned this to Lena, where you saw the interview I did with Lena from Infected Rain.
Moldovan band, yes.
Lena has this rawness to her voice.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily unrefined, but it's a little bit more aggressive and in your face.
It packs a punch.
It packs a punch.
Yeah.
I think Alyssa has more of, not necessarily, I don't want to say that it doesn't pack a punch. It doesn't have the same impact for me personally. Angela had very impactful voice. Despite the fact, what I didn't know, guys, let me know down below in the comments, is Angela personally picked Alyssa. She said she'll be a good replacement for her.
So she's like the protege of. I didn't know that fact.
Yeah, I guess so.
I barely heard her voice to judge. I'm not even going to open up my mouth until the song is over. Okay. I don't know.
Got it. You know what I'm going to say, right?
I'm not feeling the... excuse me, guys. I'm not feeling the...
Clean vocals?
Clean vocals, the pop song vocals. First of all, the Teutonic thrash metal roots that they're coming from I don't want to say Carcass, but it's nowhere to be heard. Early Arch Enemy, which
Well, I believe Carcass is one of the guitarists. He's formed the band.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Carcass, this is not. I've digested early Arch Enemy albums like no tomorrow, guys. I've listened to them over and over and over again. It doesn't sound like the same band anymore. And it's not an advantage. I'm not trying to criticize this for what this is. It just doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound like it came from the same band. And I would agree with you. First of all, I don't respond to these very much trained autopilot kind of like mimics a lot of the stage men and women do.
Yeah.
You feel that it's trained. You feel it's like choreographed. It doesn't bring that a frontman's or frontwoman's personal integrity on stage. She just doesn't sound or look very experienced. Maybe she just has to put a lot of albums behind her belt before she acquires that.
See, I don't think I've learned to realize she's not the problem to me. It's the direction that they're taking the band in. You know?
Yeah, maybe lack of ideas or whatever.
Or I think there's a certain level of success they've reached, and now this is me speculating. They've released they reached a certain level of success, and they felt that financial impact.
Yeah,
and they
like
realized,
Camelot. We've listened to Camelot for so many years. They were like the voice of power metal for many years, and then they got bored.
I don't think it's bored, Vanya. Maybe they changed their direction. That's not to our favor anymore. And
this sounds like band members are bored.
This to me sounds like a power metal group with death metal vocals. It doesn't sound death metal anymore.
I mean,
the only thing I want to say, you said Teutonic Thrash. I think Roots, they've always did the more melodic death metal, right? That was their thing in the 2000s.
No, but there was still a lot of Teutonic sound in their early records.
Yeah.
100%. This is like 180 for them.
I just think, although music, not just her voice, the music is too poppy. I have no problem with clean vocals. It's the style of clean vocals you choose for the song. And I think here you pick the right word. It's more poppy. And she has a good voice. Like I don't think I could particularly hate her voice. It's just, I don't think it fits for this particular music. Like, if she was singing like this on a power metal record, I probably would have liked it more.
Like, if you want to check my pulse, I'm attached to this, like, breathing machine, and the heartbeat is there, but it's, like, it's even.
Yeah.
It's not moving.
For me, this is...
Let's listen to the rest of the song.
Because on the tech, like, the solos were kind of those...
They're kind of nice. Technically, they're still there.
Yeah. You know what I think Arch Enemy is going to be very good for? It's somebody who's not into more extreme side of heavy metal.
A trampoline.
It's going to be a great trampoline for an audience.
Start here, you pick up a couple. That's always, I even remember myself, when you're like 12, 13, you'll start experimenting with your music taste, and you hear one catchy tune, one cool rhythm, or a hot girl in a video, which is fine. Sex appeal is good for metal, right? You check this out, like, oh, she's hot. I like this band. That's good.
Yeah, I think it was always shunned, right, by the elitist kind of more metal side.
So
that
bullshit.
For some reason, basically all the dudes were like bad, like bad looking dudes, and the women couldn't be good looking. And then you look at what's that one 80s band you always show me where the female singer, she was absolutely gorgeous, and at the same time she had a really powerful voice. You recently showed me that band. No, it was like a power metal He-Man looking kind of a band. But anyway, there was a lot of that going on in the 80s. With this band, I've come to realize it's time for me to move past them, and in a sense, that's happening with Megadeth.
I take the bite. You know, I take the bite here and there. I still try to return to bands that I've abandoned for many years. Like, hey, let me see what's going on.
I always loved Angela's era. I'm always going to listen to.
I enjoyed
Arch Enemy because what I liked about her, and this has a lot to do with the stage performance, is Angela wasn't out there to try to look I don't want to use the word cute. She wasn't trying to like.
She dominated the stage. We saw her live, guys, and she's a short woman. She's like this small, tiny, petite, beautiful woman. Dude, when she came out on stage,
like a monster,
bro, she was like, she had the whole crowd at her fist. She's like, bow. She's like, so much power, so much energy. It's not something that you can train for. You just have your natural attunement for, natural talent for. Here, it's very processed. It's very just like contrived.
But you know what it is? There's a lot of new fans of Arch Enemy who absolutely love Alyssa.
Yeah.
And they don't prefer Angela as much. And that's the interesting thing about it.
Who are we to tell these fans otherwise?
Exactly.
That's what they enjoy. Let's go, man.
She reminds me a lot of Behemoth, trying to kind of mimic those.
This reminds me of early 2000 heavy metal albums with like computer graphics. No?
Like Theater of Tragedy and all these guys that have created cover. Yeah.
Post-processed Photoshop covers.
And if I'm not wrong, it's the first time I hear her sing, because I have been following the albums. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the first time she does clean vocals. And again, moving past her, we've already talked about her. From a musical standpoint, you can clearly hear the direction they're taking the band in. And it is, I believe, it's going to separate fans. There's people on this channel that called Arch Enemy to me boring. Meaning they found all of career of Arch Enemy to be boring.
All of it from
all of it. Yeah,
okay.
All of it.
Okay.
There's other people who find Alyssa to be a breath of fresh air, that it doesn't have to be this masculine, hyper masculine, or a box of what metal has to be. And I'm starting to realize they've created almost like cliques and camps of people who are going to be into them, and they're okay with that.
Can I counter that real quick? There is an idea of innovation and progression, and you shouldn't be limited in this one box what you are. But there's also a concept behind a band. There's a particular sound. There's a particular thing that people come to. There's a reason why people revisit Iron Maiden almost 40 years after. There's a reason people go to such a band. If I want to listen to a particular style, I go to a different band. Here, I'm all for innovation and trying things outside the box. But when you start introducing something that just doesn't feel right or belong, just a gut instinct that fans pick up on intuitively. And once again, we all have different tastes and opinions. What doesn't work for you and me might work for other fans. So we're not here to say that we're right. We're here to say that it doesn't work for us.
And you know what it is? I think a lot of times people misunderstand what a reaction is. A reaction is a raw feeling.
Yeah, it's an honest, raw feeling. And look, guys, when I hear sometimes I read the comments on your videos and people say, well, you just didn't give this band enough time. You just need to understand. Let me explain to you, Joe, and you will get it. Guys, I've been listening to heavy metal for 30 years. Him, over 20 years. When you listen to an X number of bands and you frankly heard something that you personally feel is better than this, why should I spend my time with it? It's like, at the end of the day, all creative art is also an industry. It's business. And you need to be able to catch my attention in order for me to pay that admission price, pay for the tickets, and go see in the concert. If I have 15 bands in my library, which to me sound better than this, why should I care? Or why should your opinion suddenly come in and turn my world upside down and make me care?
You know what also becomes the issue from that perspective is that I think a lot of fans then go, then why react to this? Then why?
Because you want to educate yourself.
You know what it is? Despite how I might feel about a band, I still come back to every single time the band's, for example, Megadeth. You know how I feel about Megadeth now?
Yeah.
I come back to every single new album of Megadeth to give it a shot one more time.
Because you want to be a part of a conversation, you want to be involved, you want to be contemporary with the times. And when somebody opens their mouth about Megadeth, at least they have something to say about it. Like, yeah, it's thrash and roll. I like it. It doesn't. But we're still in this conversation.
I gotta say, after Risk, I lost faith in Megadeth. And the last album, actually, was it Super Collider? I liked it. I thought it was, and I wouldn't have liked
Dystopia. Didn't Dystopia come after?
Dystopia or Super Collider. I actually like both of those albums.
I like all the new stuff.
And for me, if I didn't come back to Megadeth to listen to them, I would have missed those albums. And I actually liked them. Yeah. I like the new album from Metallica. I know you're not a big fan. Yeah. Hardwired to Self-Destruct, despite...
No, it's decent. I liked it.
You liked it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it. And if I just gave up on Saint Anger, I would have never heard that album.
Guys, why react then if we're reacting in such a way to this? Because we want to be a part of the conversation. Because you know what? After this video, I'm going to probably download the new album when it comes out.
And just check it out.
Get it, check it out, and say, like, was it worth my money or not? Because I love metal. And just because one song didn't pull me in, it doesn't mean I should hate on the band.
Yeah. When you didn't know how to play.
They can still shred. I was thinking the same exact thing. This is like an awesome power metal soloing going on.
That's kind of what I'm starting to see. Arch Enemy's transitioning into more
crossover, dude. Create a power metal band.
I mean, I think they just kind of just go in that direction. Period.
They should hire Greg Hildebrandt. Guys, it's a famous legendary Star Wars painter with 60-year plus history. He painted one of the first Star Wars original posters. He does cover albums for Sonata Arctic, I think.
Okay.
Hire this dude, create a full power metal band. I will be on freaking board. Have her sing 24/7.
Yeah.
Let's check that out. How about that for innovation?
I don't think her voice is bad at all.
No, it's not bad.
It's nice.
It's not.
It's just I don't think it matches the melodic death metal.
I honestly feel that she has enough experience, but she still needs to be a little bit guided within the format of a powerful band with a strong vision. They could really bring her talent out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, this Deceiver and this are solid singles for Arch Enemy. And this is me stepping out like a step back from what I personally like and just being objective about it. Mm-hmm. They're decent. They're good singles, meaning that there's bands out there. I'm not gonna name the band that I've reacted to recently that I absolutely trashed from the beginning to the end because there was no redeeming qualities for me personally. You know, I tried so hard to find them and I couldn't. I can find redeeming qualities and I can find things there's to like for people because they're playing well.
Yeah.
Visually, I know this is going to appeal to somebody. You know, might not for me.
As a counterpart to what you're saying, I think this may be a good single, a good song.
Yeah.
But it's a misrepresentation of what I think fan expectations are from the band. It's like currently watching the Book of Boba Fett, right? Spoiler alert, you're watching the show and suddenly another character jumps into the show and the whole episode is dedicated to him. I'm like, hold on a second.
It's being like
hijacked. I'm like, hold on a second. It's pretty cool material on its own, that particular episode, but how does it pertain to the rest of the storytelling you're trying? A band with its library of records, it's storytelling, it's relationship with fans, the promise of kind of sound they may come back to and enjoy. So to me, quality of the songs aside, this is a misrepresentation. If I were I am the fan from like 10 years ago of Arch Enemy, like, hey, let me see what the band is up to these days. Click, I'm playing this song. I'm like, is this an entirely different band? Not talking about the quality of the song, talking about what's in there.
Do you think it makes you, and I mean, me being a devil's advocate, do you think it makes you more close-minded to think that way, that you're not open to the new era that this band is in? Or I think, for example, without being a devil's advocate, I think it's fair to be not on board or disappointed with a certain sound of a band, where some people feel like you're just not open-minded enough to kind of embrace the new direction this band is going.
Perhaps, but I was open-minded enough to hear and review and react to the song with you, which means I still have enough interest in this band. I remember I read Arch Enemy, my first impulse is to click on it. I would give anything at least one chance, one try. But if I don't like it, I don't have to. And for somebody coming in off the left field and feeling passionate, say, well, you just don't understand it. Well, hold on a second. How many songs have you heard from this band? And it's like just today I had this conflict of interest with a fan. He comes in and he writes a whole 25,000 page article on my YouTube video saying how the new Star Wars is not real Star Wars. Like, dude, I don't care what you have to say. I don't know what your background is. You don't know what my background is. Why are you coming to me with your Bible and telling me what I should follow? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's okay for people to dislike something. It's a whole different argument for people to be toxic about it. Shitting on the band and saying, oh, she should not perform. What is this? She's the poser. Look how sexy she... We're not saying these things. We're saying we don't like it. We're not saying our opinion is the fact, a solid stone, you know?
I think what you're saying, it's good to have discourse and disagreements and conversation, as long as you're within the realms of being polite about your opinion. You're not just there to be a douche.
Look, you can criticize the new Book of Boba Fett show and at the same time uplift the creators and runners of the show who put their hearts and soul into it. Same with this band. These guys are, kicking their asses trying to bring the best content that they feel to the fans. Uplift it, even though you have some critique to say about it. Say like, hey, I hope they try better next time. I hope they have something exciting with the rest of the album. You could still find something interesting and positive to say. You don't have to be toxic about it.
Honestly speaking, I'm going to be checking out the new album. I did like a couple of songs from the past album.
I might.
Just because I'm still a fan of Arch Enemy. I always go in optimistically. And on an occasion, for example, guys, I listened to the new album from Saxon, and I didn't like it very much. It wasn't particularly a bad album, just I didn't dig it, and it happens sometimes. We can't like everything. With that being said, guys, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. Leave down below the comments of what you thought about this single, kind of your thoughts on it, and maybe your thoughts on the pantheon of Arch Enemy music, kind of what you feel about it as well.
The biggest question is, should Arch Enemy cross over into power metal or not? I would be interested to see that. Full-blown fantasy, balls out, cheesy cover. Put some dwarves in there with some elves. Sprinkle it with magic, dude. I'll be interested in checking that out. Plus her, she's hot.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's the sex appeal thing that you said.
It's great. I love sex appeal.
It's 100% makes sense.
Look at the album cover of the group members of Megadeth in the Rust in Peace. Those are the sexiest male specimens you can find in a metal band. Dude,
and on that note, guys, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day and keep it metal.